Welcome back. In our last videos, we gave a general account of what virtue is. And we saw that virtue is what is called a purposive disposition that is governed by a rational principle that controls any particular emotion or feeling or drive so that you achieve in any particular situation the right amount of it at the right time toward the right people. So now what we want to do is we want to get into his more specific account of each of the virtues. We see in book 3, though, something really strange. He seems to start at random. He seems to start with talking first about what is free choice, and then what is courage, and then what is temperance. We'll talk more about what these are in this particular module. But what I want to do right now is talk about why he would start with these three first. What is the importance of these three that makes it necessary for him to start the whole account of what it is to specifically be a good human being with courage, temperance, and free choice? Well, remember, human beings are not just rational beings. They're animals. They're what Aristotle calls rational animals. And so just like any animal, the motivation for our actions are starting out just our basic drives and emotions, our desires and aversions. And so what are our most basic drives? Well, when you think about it, we want to feel good and we want to not suffer. And so we avoid or repel against suffering, and we are attracted to or desire that which we feel we're going to be able to enjoy, pleasure. When we expect suffering, what do? We fear. So one of the most basic drives we have is fear. And what controls fear? Courage. Courage is the virtue that allows us to suppress or control our fear, our desire to avoid pain, so that we can do the right thing. How many times have we not done the right thing precisely because we feared the consequences, the suffering that would occur? Maybe you wanted to stand up and stop someone from bullying someone else, but you feared that you would be bullied too. And so this expectation of suffering, that you might be beat up, that you might be made fun of or excluded, then caused you to not do the right thing. You couldn't control your fear. And so most of the great things that virtue gives us presuppose, when we do the right thing, the courage to do it. And so we want to start with courage. But what about that other basic drive? What about the situations where we're not in a fearful situation, but rather we're in the presence of things that attract us? Maybe, for example, a woman or a guy who you find attractive comes up to you and makes a pass at you because they find you attractive, and you find them attractive too, but you're married. Well, now you have another impulse, basic drive that you need to fight. And that is the impulse toward enjoyment or pleasure. And the virtue that allows you to do that is the virtue of temperance. And so therefore, we see that the two basic drives that humans face in life, we're always seeking to enjoy, and we're always seeking to avoid pain and suffering, especially death. These basic drives require control by these basic virtues, courage and temperance. If we do not have courage and temperance, then the whole idea that we're going to be able to do the right or just thing is a pipe dream. It's highly unlikely. And so the foundational virtues that we need to build are courage and temperance. This, though, is an exercise of the will, a choice over these drives. And so we need to understand what we say, what we mean when we say that we have a choice, that these drives don't control us like animals. that we can choose to allow our rational self to rule over our animal or emotional self. And so thus, the foundation for all just and virtuous action presupposes that we understand what it means to do something in opposition to our basic animal instincts, i.e. what is free choice, and it also presupposes that we have the courage and the self-control, the temperance, to overcome and control our most basic animal instincts and drives.